Lucky Lefty Podcast, Honora Boys in the building, brought to you by Honora Whiskey, HonoraWhiskey.com. It is the premium American whiskey, HonoraWhiskey.com. Let me tell you something. I already know the madness is going. The madness is
gone. It's gone. Yeah, you saw Wisconsin go down.
I did, happily. I saw them happily go down. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And I'm sure there are a lot of Badger fans up in Madison drowning their sorrows. But hopefully, when they drown those sorrows, we hope they make sure to do it
responsibly.
Let's get it lit. Yo, yo, yo. Happy Thursday. Happy beginning of March Madness. Lucky Lefty Podcast. Your boy, SD Too Much Sean Davis. That dude, the original Lucky Lefty himself, MALIK ZAIRE. We are brought to you by Honora Whiskey. HonoraWhiskey.com. It is that premium American whiskey, HonoraWhiskey.com. And what you need to do is go over on to YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube page. Hit that thumbs up. It helps with the views. Leave your comments, questions. We indeed respond to all. We are the home of the misguided passion and forever committed to making sure that we spin it. Then you need to go over Apple Podcasts, Spotify, courtesy of Bleav Network. That's where we are. Find all of our audio edibles each and every day. Tap in. Sign up for the automatic download. Every time we drop something, you'll get it. It'll bless your life. And then we are presented by FanDuel, FanDuel.com. And we talked about the SEC, the Big Ten, and the ACC yesterday when it came to win totals. But man, we're going to start out with the Big 12. And the Arizona State Sun Devils, 6.5. That's their win total. And an opponent for Notre Dame, the BYU Cougars, 8.5 wins. That's, oh man. That's one of the tougher teams Notre Dame has to face. Very interesting. Then we go down to the Utah Utes, who have a new coach, and they are at 8.5 wins for a win total. Coach Prime and his Colorado Buffaloes, only 4.5 for a win total. Only
by the way,
for a win total. Yeah.
Who do you have winning for the tournament?
Who do I have winning?
Yeah.
I look at my bracket. I only have one of the number one seed making it to the Final Four.
Only one?
Only one. Yep.
Where's Miami land in your bracket?
Miami, Ohio. Who do they play next? I think they play Tennessee next.
Mm-hmm.
I think they play Tennessee next.
Mm-hmm.
They won't make it to the. They're not making it to the Final Four.
I'm just saying, it sounds like food.
That.
You just saw what High Point did. So, I mean, like,
what's your point, Left? What's your point?
Wait a minute. You heard what the coach
said.
What's
your point?
You heard what the coach said.
Is at 11, ladies and gentlemen. Find that much more at FanDuel. FanDuel.com. Download the FanDuel app. Now go ahead. What are you trying to say? Because I'm confused.
You heard what High Point coaches said. He said they need to give mid-major.
And he's right. Right. He's absolutely right. What's your point?
Find out, because he mentioned Miami. That's why he said it.
Okay, but Miami beat the 8th best team out of the Big 12 last night. Relax.
What?
They beat the 8th place team out of the Big 12 last night. Relax.
They beat another tournament.
This is how I know. You don't watch basketball.
Why you gotta
diminish basketball?
Why you gotta diminish the win? Why you gotta diminish the win?
A mid basketball team. They keep the name on the front of the jersey. SMU was a mid basketball team this year. That's what they were. What are we talking about?
But they was in the tournament though. See,
what does that mean?
I mean, they gotta be.
The Howard Tyson are in the tournament. What's the point?
there's a lot of teams that wish they could have been in the tournament, like Notre Dame. So, I mean, they got to be worth something if they make it.
Who said they weren't worth anything? Who are you arguing against?
The 8,000 team in the Big Ten. I'm just saying.
They didn't beat any. See, I'm not like you. I don't respect everybody that makes a field of 68 teams. I don't. There are some mid basketball teams in the tournament. So what's your point? Once again, there were mid football teams in the CFP last year. What's your point?
That Miami is going to show you what High Point showed you today.
What? That they can beat mid Power 5 basketball teams?
Oh, now Tennessee's mid?
Yippee.
Tennessee
High
mid?
Point's not. High Point's, I mean, Miami's not beating Duke. They're not beating Florida. They're not beating Kansas. They're not beating Illinois. They're not beating Purdue. I'm naming all the teams they won't beat if they play them. So,
I'm sure Wisconsin said the same about High Point.
Can Miami? No. First of all, I knew Wisconsin can't defend. They can't defend to save their life. So that's not a shocker to me. Not a shocker to me at all. I was laughing with my best friend. He went to B school up at Madison. Laughing it up with him. Like, dude. And their coach, Greg Gard, by the way, this dude, like, literally not in the field of 32 or 64 consistently, which is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's absolutely ridiculous. But no. And shout out to Boyd from Wisconsin, who's always running his mouth. I respect him though. You know why? Because even when they were down one with 1.8 seconds on the clock, he still was talking trash. At least he stood on it. He was consistent. I respect him for that. He was still talking trash down one with 1.8. I was like, hey, I can't even front on the man. That's just who he is. Nick Boyd, that's who he is. But Nick Boyd made a Final Four. He made a Final Four.
We might have to tell him to come on help Shrewsbury or something, man.
I believe he's out of eligibility. I believe though. Lucky Lefty podcast. So, we heard Marcus Freeman on Always College Football yesterday with Greg McElroy, and we saved him and Loren Landow on today's show, and we're going to talk about that. An abbreviated show. We should go about an hour today. But we're going to start with Loren Landow. And it's actually funny when you listen to the press conference yesterday because there were so many people chiming in yesterday as we were talking about the number of injuries in Notre Dame sustained over the offseason.
Yeah, it's crazy. He has all these, what do they call it, out of the country injuries. Maybe in Italy get in.
It's wild. And, some people, man, are just cruel, man, because they heard about the Charles Jagasaw surgery for the infection. And they're like, calling him outside of his name and talking about the goofy goes out. I'm like, bro, all of the offensive linemen were doing the same thing. He just happened to have an accident. So because they didn't get the same result, it's just interesting to me, bro.
I mean, there's nothing you can really do to stop it. I mean, it's just like freak injuries.
What did you do on spring break?
I mean, I was always
do anything there.
See, I was never playing around like that. I went to train on all my breaks, so I it wasn't too much of an opportunity to just be ATV. And plus, I don't really like doing the ATV stuff. I'm good with the just the car. You know what I mean? And the scooter, the dirt bike, and all that. That be going fast. I don't know how they.
You're not a dirt bike dude?
Oh no. I'd watch. Okay. I just can't. I can't get into it. I'm like, this ain't regular.
Have you ever been on a motorcycle?
Oh no, I can't. Oh no.
You've never been on a motorcycle.
I've been on the ones
Really?
like the game, the games, the one that like leans side to side, a little game station one. Yeah, those are cool, but oh no. You see, it just some things just don't make sense. Like going fast on a motorcycle, that just doesn't compute as like, oh, let me go do that. That just it's like jumping out of planes. Like, would you skydive?
Yes.
For real.
Yes, I would. Yes, I would. Yes, I would.
But why? Like, what would ever make you be like, man, that sounds like a great?
I mean, it's not something. It literally, it would have to. The opportunity would have to fall in my lap. It's not something I'm about to go plan.
Why are you going to seek it out? Like, oh, let me go.
No. I'm not gonna seek it out. No. If it ends up being a once in a lifetime opportunity that just happens, if I'm like somehow, I don't know, I can come up with the scenario. If it just comes upon me and I have the opportunity and I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll try it. Because they have that indoor facility. I go to the indoor thing where you get in the.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, the indoor is cool. Yeah, the indoor is cool. We do that.
Yeah,
we do that.
Yeah,
but real life, no.
But other than that, zip line. You never zip line?
See, zip line is cool. See, I wouldn't do stuff like paintball. Like, I'm not like, hey, let's go out and paintball together. I'm not interested in.
So you never paintball?
No, I've been. I last about like 1 or 2 rounds, and I'm like, all right, you got me.
Why? Because you're terrible at hiding, or you're
no.
I mean, those are the 2 primary things: to not get shot and to shoot others.
You're trying to win. That the point is to try to. But man, getting hit with it makes me think like, okay, let me just take my losses where I have them. Look, but some people into that.
I'm daring. You skydiving, not skydiving, but parasailing. Have you done that?
See, I think that's cool, right? Because it's water underneath you. That's not too dangerous. I wouldn't do an air balloon.
Something that I got mad at my daughter. True story. She calls me this summer and she's like, "Dad, guess what I'm doing?" And I'm like, "What's up, baby girl?" She was like, "Yeah, I'm taking surfing lessons this summer." I was like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm taking surfing lessons this summer." And you know me, I don't do the jump in the ocean as a swimmer thing. It's crazy because I would parasail, I would ride a motorcycle, but the jump in, that is like going into the jungle for me. That's
the ocean is just man. What you gonna do?
That's their home. That's their home. I don't belong.
I don't have that.
I don't belong. Give me the local pool at the park district or someone's backyard, but the ocean, no sir. I'm not playing that. And so she's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "So where are you learning? You're learning at like a facility?" "Oh no, we're at the ocean." I'm like, "See, that's I'm out.
Instantly, right? But would you do hot air balloon?
It probably is a beautiful experience.
Oh no, yeah.
It probably is a dope experience. It probably is.
The little basket ride? No.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, love. I don't know about that one.
And what's propelling you is just a little fire. It's just like, that ain't good enough. You see the little fire burning you. No, thank you. I'll do a helicopter, maybe. It's gotta be like a low level one, like they do the ones in Chicago.
I would rather run kickoff or punt return on special teams than to get up in a hot air balloon.
No, for real.
Yeah. I would rather punt return on punt block, all out punt block, and no blockers. and no fair catch rule. I would rather do that.
Because some stuff you gotta be like, man, I'm just not going out that way. Like if it's just unfortunate situation, that's not the way, you know.
Yeah. GTP question before we get into Loren Landow. SD2 Mics and Lefty, do you guys think Notre Dame can ever get back to being competitive in today's college basketball landscape, like back when Bray was head coach? You want me to keep it a buck? My opinion?
Yeah, I don't know.
You got to be willing to spend. And Notre Dame has money to buy any team: hockey, lacrosse, basketball, women's basketball, baseball, football. But they're good stewards.
Basketball moves too fast for what?
Man, have you seen? Go look at the transfers that Notre Dame brings in comparison to the transfers that top teams bring in college basketball. That tells you everything you need to know. Tells you everything you need to know. What'd you say?
Is it that much different?
Hey, man. You got to pay to play. You got to pay to play. Or you just have to become
the basketball's way easier to win than football, though.
Yeah, you'll never see like a high point winning in football. No. I enjoyed watching High Point and Miami play. I enjoy watching the way they play, the style of play.
Well, Miami's top going to the Final Four,
man. Okay. I'm sure there's a lot of people in the chat that's willing to take that bet. Hit left up. Malik ZAIRE 8 on social media. Hit him up. Malik is taking all bets. He says Miami, Ohio.
You agreed.
And I love watching them play. What did I agree with? We got to get the
okay. If you love watching them play, that's got to mean that you. Yeah, that you think they're good.
No, that means that they're good enough to be an average and mid
top
Power 5
team.
Yeah.
Yes.
They can beat a Wisconsin. They can beat the team they beat last night, SMU. Yes, they can.
All they got to do is win one.
Yes, because how much the High Point beat Wisconsin by?
1 point.
First of all, let me stop. Okay. Wisconsin beat Illinois twice. So I have nothing to stand on.
I'm saying Miami is,
Loren Landow talked about the strides. Who made the biggest strides this offseason in strength and conditioning? This is what you have to say.
I look at that question. I do hate to single out guys because we're so early in the process, right? A lot can change. We're 8 weeks in. I look at that from a unit level, and I look at what our bigs are doing, our O-line and our D-line. It's really impressive how strong they're getting, how well they're moving as big players. But then I look at my skills and my mids, and I sit there and I look at the field and I watch them in our football schools, and I watch how they're moving. They're moving more efficiently. There's a better burst. There's a better speed to them. But we're 8 weeks in, but collectively as a whole, like, it's really hard to single out one person, and we're so early in the process.
Third row on the right, Tim Priester.
Coach, this might be out right here.
Oh, sorry.
This might be outside the parameter of the questions that you were asking for, but there's a narrative within your profession as it relates to your profession at Notre Dame and your role. That the players that aren't injured, you're doing a good job. The players that are injured, you're not doing a good job. What is reality? What can you control and what can't you control?
Well, like anything on that topic, I'm going to leave to Rob Hunt. But this is a chaotic, physical, violent sport. It is.
Well, I think it'll start impacting him once players that are getting paid a lot making money are having issues. But
let me go ahead, Len.
But I do think that, he hasn't had that much time with guys either. What'd you say? If last year we were done early, so that gave us
2.5 weeks. They had 2.5 weeks of off-season
It
training.
was a lot of time. I mean, this is his kind of first run at it because usually he's got a quick turnaround getting ready for spring football. I mean, it happens fast, you know. So, well, I don't know. I think there's a bigger spotlight on things now because it's such a win now type of culture. So everything's being evaluated a little bit more.
Yeah. For me, I think the first thing he talked about was, I love the strength. This goes hand in hand. And I hope Notre Dame fans can really listen to this and kind of take it for what it is. Both teams in the national championship won the war of attrition. And what I mean by that is that both teams lost some of their best players due to injuries along the way, even in the playoffs. And they still were able to go out there and play at an elite level.
Shoot, Indiana was dang near healthy.
Yeah. So I want to say that, Loren Landow, he's right. The result of this sport that we play, that is physical and violent, is going to be injuries. That's the case. It is his job to get Notre Dame to a point where they can do what is required of the vision of one Marcus Freeman, who said he wants this to be an offensive and defensive line driven program. And it's a recruiting program about development, and he doesn't want 1 and 2s. He wants 1A and 1B. Loren Landow, for the most part, through strength and conditioning, has done that. Has he not?
Absolutely.
Has he not built the strength and endurance of this roster to the point that it can endure injuries? And still, we've seen that with the offensive line the past 2 years. Deal with injuries and still be able to go out there and get the job done. Go out there and be physical and play a physical brand of football.
Absolutely.
Like Loren Landow is doing his job. He has done his job. If you're going to judge any strength and conditioning coach on injuries in a violent game like this, I don't know. That's why you go out and you recruit and build depth, because you know that injuries are a major part of the game, especially, and they're talking about adding possibly 1 or 2 more games to the college football playoff, which is crazy.
Do you think we'll get to a point like basketball where agents are telling programs like, hey, we're not doing this weight.
Football Darren Peterson?
Yeah,
like
we not. Yeah,
Darren Peterson?
Yeah, football Darren Peterson. We're not doing this weight program. It's bad for his joints and, this and that. It's coming.
I hope not. Because I think fans will absolutely lose their mind if it gets to that point. Fans are losing their mind with the NIL already.
CJ just played the first half of a game because he's like, I need to chill,
Notre Dame fans will absolutely go crazy. Notre Dame fans will go crazy.
It's happening right now, SD.
It probably is happening behind the scenes in some way, form, or fashion. Snap count limitations, all of that type of stuff. I don't know.
I mean, NIL deals got to be like, you got to get a certain amount of snaps, this and that. Like, he's got to get the ball 40%.
I think Loren Landow has done. You can't blame Loren Landow because he doesn't perform surgeries.
Nope.
You can't blame Charles Jagusah on him. Charles Jagusah was on summer break with a freak accident. Charles Jagusah isn't that. The freshmen that came in with the ACLs, those were pre-existing injuries. Some of those were pre-existing injuries from high school. They're rehabbing those guys. I would like to see the offensive line be healthier. It seems like the offensive line is the one group that always deals with injuries, particularly in the lower body parts. If they can shore that up, it would make me feel a whole lot better.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't know. Left, you talked about it yesterday. Like, what is it with Jaden Greathouse and the reoccurring hamstring injuries? Is it nutrition? Is it what he eats? Is it proper stretching? Is it hydration? I mean, what is it?
I don't know. Do you blame the athletic training staff? I mean, because who do you blame the infection on? Is it the same?
That's surgical.
Do you say once on me, shame on me, twice on you, or something like that? I mean, does it work the same? Because if you get infections, are they not giving you the right medicine, or
what's the process? Like, you've been through that. When you have a surgery at a school like Notre Dame, I'm sure you have to go for treatment and inspection of the injury to make sure it's properly healing on a certain schedule.
I mean, yeah. I had my ankle broken, so I think it was more of a clean thing than anything. You know, it was just a pure break.
So he had a clean break of the humerus bone.
And he got infection over that too, huh?
He got infection multiple times.
Maybe his body just, I don't know. It's funny, I didn't want to say it, but it's funny. What Reggie Brooks said, he said,
it could be the meds too.
What Reggie Brooks said, he said, I don't want Radigan working on me.
Yeah.
He said, I know him too well. But I don't know. I mean, that's weird because it's not like this happening to a lot of people. He's just specifically, I don't know, man. What do you do with that? If you Marcus Freeman, do you move on? Do you tell him to transfer? Like, what happens?
I mean, you're not going to transfer because it's not about not getting the opportunity. It's about getting healthy. Now, does he have a right to go ask for outside help?
I mean, at this point, you would have to, right?
I'm not even sure if that's an option. You know, maybe it is an option for him to say, look, can I have this procedure done by outside physicians? You know,
it's just interesting because it's not like a rehab thing where it's, he's not going to rehab or something. It's like, this is a whole, we got to check if you taking the right. You know, it can be like one of those antibiotic things. If you don't take all of them, it comes back worse.
And it could be medical and pharmaceutical.
It could be one of those, like, he didn't take all, he left like 3 or 4 in the jar, and it just, you know, you got to take all of them for real, that type of thing. But 4 times is something's negligent. Like, somebody ain't doing something right.
It's just weird. It's weird. I'll say that. Lucky podcast. So then Loren Landow was asked about having more time this all season to prepare and set up a program in comparison to the 2.5 weeks he had last year coming off the plate, the national championship run. This is what he had to say.
Sure. I think that every offseason is a different journey. Obviously, last year our runway was a little bit shorter. Last year being the national championship year was a little bit shorter. So this year we had a little bit longer runway. So with that being said, when we bring in the freshmen and the transfers, we make sure that they're on their own cadence for the first 4 weeks. They have to learn what we do, how we do things, and how we operate, what our expectations are, and what our standards are from a team perspective, but ultimately also in how we train and how we prepare. So we set them aside for 4 weeks, and then after that 4 weeks, we introduce them with the rest of the team. So by the time they're in with the rest of the team, they're not trying to compete with the guys who have been here for 3 to 4 years and trying to keep up with their weight. They're working within their lane, but they're learning our process. So one thing I talk a lot about, people people talk about winter workouts, right? Everybody asks questions about winter workouts. I call it winter training. To me, a workout is what you do singularly. It's one day. It's a bike ride. It's a sweat. It's calorie expenditure. To me, training is a path that we have that has a destination. It has a target that we're looking for. So they understand, they learn it early, and then when we bring them in with everybody else, it's an easy fit.
It's interesting that LL, Loren Landow, talks about the left because every strength and conditioning program is different, right? Every strength and conditioning program is different.
Right.
And you're coming from Ohio State, you're coming from Oregon. What their focus, once again, Loren Landow is building something that leads into or aids and assists the vision of Marcus Freeman. So you look at one body type and they might go about it differently at Oregon, Ohio State. So I just found it, I think it's very wise to kind of have that that beginning phase for those that transfer and the incoming freshmen to kind of find their footing within what is going to be asked of them.
Yeah, you got to go through the process. They want to roll you into it as best as they can because it can be a lot. Guys coming from different work ethic backgrounds. Yeah, Notre Dame's definitely a program, so everybody got to get adjusted to this. So it definitely is some time. A lot of it revolves around your schedule just being just so every day, and being able to work out and do it in a timely fashion because you got to be places. I think a lot of that is why they separated at first too, because it's like, it's going to look like a lot if I just throw you in there because you see guys, like you said, locker room empty. If the weight room end at 8:20, the locker room's empty at by 8:40. Dude's going. Hey, I got to start my day, so you got to get adjusted as a freshman because, you're used to whatever. So, but it's good. I think it's a way to also get a good baseline for guys. Not get them convoluted. You see all these workout pictures with the before and afters of these weight programs. I think it's interesting. It looks cool. I don't know if it's the pose or they lather them up or something before they take it. It definitely looked different. Something looked different. But we don't do that.
They got the P. Diddy baby oil on them.
Oh, they definitely do, because I'm like, they look dry and dusty on the first one. And then they flex in the second one, they just all super shiny. I'm like, oh, is that the effect or something? Whatever. I mean, whatever. I mean, this is what recruiting has come down to. Even the strength and conditioning got to sell.
So let's hear from Loren Landow. Yeah. So we talked about Francis Brew, of course, who went viral with his performance in the offseason, but also talking about, how you go about adding good weight. How do you go about adding good weight? Some good stuff from Loren Landow here.
That's a pretty impressive bench press that I think made its way viral. He's strong on the upper body, no two ways about it, and he's strong total body. I try not to get too excited about those things. It's one aspect of performance, but when you see that in front of you, it gets the room excited. I mean, the thing obviously everybody wants to talk about, but there's so many great things that he and the other guys are doing behind the scenes on the training side. It's outside the strength side, the movement and the bend and the burst. Those are all things that are just really impressive that you see out of a young man like that.
And then almost without exception, the freshmen come here, sometimes the transfers, and they say they have a target weight. They want to get to a certain weight by the start of spring, by the fall. What's the process? How deep do you have to go to make? Do you even go back to talking to family members to see how they typically, what the pattern is for them to add good weight? How do you make sure it's good weight, and how collaborative is that?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's fluid. You know, guys come in at a certain body weight, and I think a lot of people putting in their head, I need to be this weight to play at this position. And what we do is we talk amongst our performance verticals. We discuss what is realistic in a certain time frame. We talk to the position coaches and the coordinators and say what's realistic for them to do their job, but also keeping in mind that the age that they are and the developmental level, you want to make sure that you don't exceed too much weight too soon. And some of the closest proxies I'll use is I start to look at if I see vertical jump decreasing as they're adding on body weight, then I know performance is probably going to start to decrease as well. So you want to be smart in how you're putting on the weight. You just don't want to do it indiscriminately.
I'm all for adding good weight.
That would be great if we was a basketball team and if we was training like Kevin Durant. You know, if his shot was off, and he's shooting it too strong, you do less push-ups or something. But it's interesting every year. Training and athletic development and strength and conditioning gets fancier and fancier with philosophies and how things go. I think traditional weightlifting, putting the iron on your back, eating, 3 times a day, the stuff I think that stands more true to having less injury than all these leafy vegetables and protein shakes and bands and times. It's just different. It's just different.
I really don't see the issue with what he said. Because the one thing is you add weight, you don't want to lose your athletic ability. And if you start losing your agility and all the other things, I think that could become a problem. I think that's pretty fair. I mean, I'm not sure what is the right thing to do.
Right.
Yeah, everything changes, bro. Everything changes with nutrition. Remember, years ago, milk was great for you. Now milk's bad for you.
Right.
You can't drink too much
nutrition's
water.
Even worse. You can't eat nothing but gotta eat everything.
Eat organic. Don't eat organic. Make sure it's cage free. Make sure it's this. Make sure it's that.
I be thinking the safest thing get you a carb, a vegetable, and a protein, right? And then you get you a little fruit on the side. You straight.
But now they're talking about fruit has too much sugar. I just heard a study the other day. Like you can't eat too much fruit. They're high in sugar. And
eating too much fruit unless it's fake. Is it fake?
No,
fruit?
Grapes are really high. Grapes are really high.
Yeah, because those are fake. Because the seedless ones are fake.
You know what I'm saying? But it's you do wonder. Watermelon is always pretty safe.
It's pretty safe because I like it the most.
Man, do you get the yellow meat? Do you ever get the yellow
meat? I like
any
type of cantaloupe watermelon. That's my thing.
I can't do. I can do honey melon. I can't do the cantaloupe.
Honey melon. That's like everybody knows when you fruit tray, you leave the green pieces in there.
No, then you're missing out. That's like people that don't eat the green. That's like people
all
that
don't eat the green. You can have all of mine.
No, you can have the cantaloupe.
Oh yeah, that's me.
You have all the cantaloupe. Yeah, watermelon is the go-to. Summertime, I'll do cherries and plums in the summer. Nectarines.
Have you ever had the straw cherries, or is that just
yes.
a GMO creation? Okay.
I've had them. I've had them once. Never had them again.
Okay, it was on them. We messed around and spliced some genes one time. Tested it out.
I haven't done bananas. I'll put bananas in like a protein shake if I make it. My wife does bananas like crazy. But now
I
she
can't
does
eat
bananas and
bananas by
peanut butter.
themselves.
She does bananas and peanut butter. I don't know how.
You can do the bananas with the cereal though, right?
No, for what? Are you talking about like bananas on your cornflakes?
Oh yeah.
For what?
You talking about for
Why?
what? You knew exactly what I was talking about though. You knew exactly the combination though.
I mean, that's a worldwide combination.
Worldwide,
talking-
yeah, it's good.
You're absolutely talking to someone that has never eaten banana pudding.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, I mean, anything banana for me is
by default, you just not gonna like it.
yeah. I'm not gonna rock with it. I'm not gonna rock with it. Lucky podcast, adorable. I am Sean Davis, that dude, the original Lucky himself, Malik Zaire, brought to you by Nora Whiskey and NoraWhiskey.com. That premium American whiskey, NoraWhiskey.com. You need to check us out on YouTube. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe, leave your comments, questions. We indeed respond to all. And then you need to check us out on the audio side, Apple Podcasts and Spotify, courtesy of Bleav Network. And we, as always, are presented by FanDuel, FanDuel.com. You can go over there and download the FanDuel app. And let me tell you something. It's some crazy win totals out there. Let's look at Arkansas, man. 4.5 coming out of the SEC. That's crazy. Purdue, 3.5 coming out of the Big Ten. Let's check out Stanford. 3.5 coming out of the ACC. And then let's check out the Baylor Bears. They are at 6.5 over in the Big 12.
What's the line looking like, man? Throw them a line?
You know what? I did not check the Illini. We're taking a step back this year. And
okay.
Dude, they don't even. Is this for real? Oh, I almost overlooked them. They do not have Illinois posted yet.
No way.
They literally don't have the Illini's win total posted. This is embarrassing right now.
Wow.
They have the Iowa Hawkeyes though, and they have Rutgers, who is at what, 4.5. You can find that much more, minus Illinois, over at FanDuel. FanDuel.com. Download the FanDuel app. That's wild that they don't even have Illinois' win total.
Wow.
I can set it for you.
Uh-oh.
6.5. 6.5. 6.5.
6.5?
6.5. They take a step back this year. They lost Aaron Henry. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So that has to be a step back. And that quarterback play is subpar this year.
I'm surprised y'all not highlighting the run game this year.
Man. The running back room is subpar as well. Literally, the two running backs that were their starters, one transferred to Georgia, and then the other one is playing tight end right now.
Tight end? How big is this guy?
That goes to show you. He was actually recruited by Notre Dame to play linebacker.
And y'all put him at running back.
That's you just explained it perfectly. You explained it perfectly. That's why the struggle is real in Champaign. Head coach Marcus Freeman with the media, his pre-spring practice press conference. And I can't wait. You know, first practice is Saturday. I can't wait to hear from Mike Denbrock and Chris Ash. Oh, I can't wait to hear from Chris Ash because I know somebody's going to ask him about the start they got off to last year. Somebody's going to ask him that question. I want to see what he has to say. And about the coaches that are no longer here. Will anyone have the guts to go ahead and kind of go down that rabbit hole? I'm interested in that. But Coach Freeman talked about being excited about having everybody back and how everything's different. This is what he had to say.
Well, I think for the guys that have been here, they're at a different level in understanding what's expected. You don't have to start back over. And, I think we saw last year, for me, it was going through the experience of, okay, we might have position coaches back, you might have players back, but you make a change of coordinator. It still takes time, right? Certain terminology changes, certain expectations change. And so to have both of those guys back, our special teams coordinator back, and then players in important positions, right? Every position is important, but obviously the quarterback position is important, that understands the expectations, understands the terminology. You're able to really be developed at a different level than you were previously. And we're able to do some of the football schools, the schematic things, farther ahead than we would have if it's a new coordinator.
CJ Carr talked about that, how the install is much further ahead than it was this time last year. And that makes sense, right? Because they were in the midst of a quarterback battle, a three-headed quarterback battle before it got down to Kenny Minchey and CJ Carr after Steve Angeli transferred. So it's just the time that they have in preparation. As Loren Landow talked about, the install should be much further ahead. It should be much further ahead because of CJ Carr, his maturation and where he is. And I love hearing that, they can kind of bypass like that date. I expect the first practice to be really good, which is kind of wonderful because it's a huge day in recruiting. Huge day in recruiting. 27 class, 28 class. It's a lot of top 5-star, 4-star athletes that are going to be there watching practice. And offensively, a guy like Julian Caldwell needs to see an offense that is, not struggling through his first practice, but actually kind of like smooth.
Right.
That's what you want to see. You just want to see a smooth practice. Up tempo, everybody full of energy, coaches energetic, getting guys going, competition, guys excited about, getting back out on the field, competing, talking trash to one another. Yeah, day one. Let's get it. Let's talk. Day one. Let's get it. Let's get it. I hope that's exactly what manifests itself.
Yeah, I mean, we got an opportunity to really go out there and just show a fresh face for football, a team that's excited, even though it's early. And you got to make the most of it. Got to get a good vibe of the team early on. But this is where the leadership comes in for CJ, where he's got to make it known that he's the guy that is going to get it done. Because right now, I mean, in my opinion, we just don't have the dudes that you think are like, who would be the captains if we had a dodgeball team? Who would be the captains that are picking teams? It'd be CJ, and then who else? So that's what they got to figure out.
Man, I agree. Coach Freeman then talked about the new coaches, how they blended in, connected with Coach Chris Ash, and what they've invested. This is what he had to say.
Yeah. A lot of the evaluation is done before you make hires, right? And you have to do thorough evaluations of the personnel that you bring into the football program, whether that's a coach or a player. And I knew through those evaluations and the interviews and discussions that we were bringing in the little people, right? They were great people, but also great football coaches, great technicians. And what you've seen is them invest the time into understanding what's expected schematically in their meetings with Coach Ash, but also the investment in our players. I remember when I first came up here in 21 and my family was still in Cincinnati. And part of it, you miss your family, but there's also that you have nothing else to do but to be in the office. And so if players come by at night, players have free time to come and meet with their coaches, it gives you a chance to connect with those guys and to talk about different things, coaching and expectations. And so the thing I see is I walk around that office, it might be 8, 9 at night, and there's players just asking their coach to meet, talking, watching film, going over different things. And so it's not only making the players better through fundamentals, but also it's giving the coach a chance to learn what the players know and the expectations that he has for the players.
I love hearing that, man. It helps out the transition.
Man, that's way better because we didn't have that. You know, our coaches were lame or they were either stressed out or something because they wouldn't do that with me. I guess it was they were always busy. I'd be like, you know, they like, go home, Roger. I'll see you at 8 in the morning. You know, yeah, we ain't staying past whatever. Like so when he's saying, I just remember like we couldn't even be in the office after 8 o'clock, you know. So it wasn't like no. When he said I see guys at night, I'm like, where? At the Google? With the high level security they got? Impossible. They lock the doors. It's crazy because you get a key card, or we used to get a key card to get into the Google, but after a certain time, your own key card didn't work. So, you know, they really wasn't playing about that. But I think those are the things that make the team stronger together because you're able to have connections outside of it being just meeting and work time. You know, if I can only talk to you during TA hours and, you know, in the practice, it's not going to have that chemistry and relationship that you really want. You know, a lot of these guys too, especially how they've been getting younger, they're thirsty for that unknown knowledge they want, right? They thirsty to get in there. I mean, now it's normal, almost expected to go into school early. When I went, there was only 5 guys allowed. There was a bunch of special things you had to do and meetings you had to have, and it was a bunch. There's a lot to do. Now it's like if you don't go in early, you might as well transfer. You know what I'm saying? It's way crazier now. So it just shows guys are a lot more eager to get the clock rolling, and they should be. I mean, you got a lot to compete against. You got transfers from any and everywhere, and then guys that are already on the team. So it's important that Marcus Freeman just keeps it cohesive. You know, everything's about slow rolling it out. You can't get too excited and front load a particular part in the off season because you get to the season and you're flat. Because you've just been so excited for so long. I mean, you know, everybody got a limit to things. So Lando was correct about it. Marcus Freeman was correct. We're not in a rush, but we're in the process of, you know. So these are good situations to be in because now we get to experience what it's like to have a little bit more time, not to be bumped up against the wall because of all the calendar events. Now we can kind of pay more attention to the team and get things more organized. But guys got to realize, man, now, you know, it only took 1 or 2 stories in the locker room with a dude's messing up to be like, yeah, I'm good. Messing up meaning getting hurt outside of football, you know, bookstore basketball or something. It was only one time for that before it was like, hey, we're not doing that no more. You know what I mean? One of those things. But I love the most that coaches can talk to the players outside of practice times.
I think that's a great benefit, especially with the new coaching staff. The fact that they're investing and getting in there with guys and very available. And like you said, you know, some of the coaches, their families have yet to move because school is in session. Most of Aaron Henry, I think he had just bought a new home in Champaign. You know, so I'm sure like he has to sell that home. The kids are still in school, so they're not moving until the summertime up the South Bend. So all he has is time to be at the Google and watch film and
be a Google grad.
Yeah, that's all. Same thing with Charlie Partridge, whose family is probably right down the road in Indianapolis. But yeah, and I think Chris Ash's family stayed in Florida last year. during the season.
He had to make sure it was safe to come up. They was about to send him back. He said, "Hey, y'all stay down there and wait till the coast is clear."
Marcus Freeman was asked about the benefits. Were there benefits to missing the college football playoffs? This is what he had to say.
Are there benefits? Absolutely. And I probably got up here last year after we played a national championship game, and if you would ask a similar question, I would have said, yeah, there's benefits of playing that late in the season because of the practices that you go through. But this has been a unique offseason for me to see because we've never had this much time. We've never had this development, full 8 weeks of being in the weight room, the meetings, the football schools, the individual drills. Like, we're at a different level than I've previously seen us at. But, you know, those are discussions we have as amongst coaches is, are we looking at shifting the calendar? Is there a way to shift the calendar so we all get those 8 weeks of winter conditioning, you know, and you don't feel like you're not as developed the following year if you make a playoff run. And so we'll see what the future holds in terms of the calendar, but there's been a lot of benefits for this group to have those 8 weeks of uninterrupted training.
It's a benefit. I mean, the two teams that were in the national championship.
Timeout beneficial. You know,
But I mean, to be fair, Left, the two teams in the national championship did make the playoff last year. I mean, we dismissed Indiana early, and literally they were in the midst of their recruiting for the transfer portal the night of the game. They had recruits on campus waiting for them to get back to campus, probably because they knew they were.
Well, that's why they lost. They was focused. They was doing too much chip on their dip. Dip on their chip.
Sometimes, you know, you're just honest about what's about to transpire. You're just honest about what's about to go down.
And you just like, listen, we're about to be right back. Don't even worry about it. We just listen. This is just something we got to go through.
Now, that's what we left Notre Dame Stadium. Yes, they left Notre Dame Stadium.
You know, we're gonna be right back for the morning greeting. Mm-hmm. We ain't gonna take this one to heart. Matter of fact, don't even turn on TV. You know, we want to see you in person.
And as we leave, we're going to receive that Notre Dame stimulus.
Oh yeah,
stimmy. Ooh. You know, get a good offensive lineman.
That's what I'm saying. Where is the collateral? Where is that? I mean, you know, they got to send us like a little bowl game ring or something. I mean, my goodness, we ain't gave up. I gave y'all some of y'all best credentials going into the season.
And I think they have definitely been blessed. And it's going to be interesting. I want to see if a team that makes the playoff and at least makes it to the semifinals and has a short runway in the offseason can come right back and do it again. That goes back to what I say. Like, you know, you can look at the injuries, but then you said it, Left. You said it when they expanded this playoff to 12 teams. You said the healthiest team is going to win. You said the team that can be healthy and have depth, it's a war of attrition just as much as it is talent.
Yeah.
And that rings true today. It still rings true. So Marcus Freeman was then asked about the backup quarterback. You should love this, Left. What's going on with the backup quarterback competition?
Obviously, you know, CJ will get the reps with the ones. But, you know, how do you have threes at certain positions and you don't. So we have to be intentional about where can we script drills or periods where we have a third group. And where can we only have two groups? And if we only have two groups, now we have to rotate those guys at the second group. And so it's no different than last spring when you have three quarterbacks and a true quarterback battle. It's about how you're intentional with scripting practice to get the right amount of looks or reps to evaluate for the guys that are in competition. And so CJ has to get his work in. We know that. But also we got to see how Blake and Noah handle their opportunities in practice. And we got to be intentional about the way we script it.
Blake Heber's the backup quarterback, man. we can stop. Noah Grubbs is. I don't think he's ready physically. That's just my opinion. Maybe
I mean,
he transforms his body. I just don't think he's ready physically.
CJ was thin last year.
CJ was thin. What?
He was thin last year.
CJ was not thin last year, bro. What is your definition of thin? CJ was, well, I don't know. You had a little chubbiness to you when you were quarterback.
CJ wasn't over 215.
No, he was 210. He was stocky 210.
Stocky. He just looks so thin. Maybe he just got a ball head.
You know how, because Nolan James Jr. is like skinny thick. When you look at him,
James
he's long and lanky. No, he's long and lanky.
Nolan James looked the part. Maybe the pictures, he takes great pictures.
Yeah, he takes great pictures because I've seen him up close and personal, and it's like, yeah, he's skinny thick. He has big thighs. Like, he has really big.
I mean, his pictures make him look like Jadarian.
Nah, he's not that. Man, that guy Jadarian, when he was out because of the Achilles, he would be on the sideline lifting, bro, during practice.
Yeah.
And it was like, once he came back, I was like, what the heck? He literally would be on the side, just, man, going at it. Yeah. And he got huge. So the transformation of all of these kids, these younger kids, is going to be interesting to see which kid kind of pops first. Because that, you remember Josh Burnham, I saw him freshman year in spring, and then like by the Syracuse game, it was kind of like, yo, who was that? Yeah. Is that the same kid? So, yeah. That's one of the most interesting things to watch, especially as the fall comes around and during the season. You know, freshmen start to show gains, you know, as far as the physique in their body. They had to go get some walk-ons. You heard Marcus Freeman talking about it's much easier to work with knowing your starting quarterback and then trying to find who's going to take the other snaps at quarterback. That's much easier to figure out than trying to figure out, you know, whether it's not it's going to be 2 quarterbacks or 3 quarterbacks. You know, he has good problems, bro. He has a darn good starting quarterback coming back. He's living a luxurious life as a head coach, unlike a lot of head coaches around the country. But this running back injury bug that's hit the running back is made them a little short and put Nolan James to the front of the line this spring. And they had to go out and get some walk-ons so they can have enough people to be able to go through a full practice. And this is what he had to say about the running back.
We had to add some depth there just to practice. And so we got a couple new guys to join the team. We had a couple walk-ons to join the team. We had tryouts. And, you know, they'll help us in terms of numbers because obviously to be able to run the ball, yeah, it's the guy with the ball in his hands, but those big guys up front and the wideouts blocking on perimeter all contribute to the success running the football. And so, okay, maybe we have a guy that might not be competing to be our starting running back carrying the ball. We can still evaluate and really improve those guys that will be blocking for the running back. And so the guys that are healthy, they'll get plenty of opportunities, but we can't kill them either, right? We can't, you know, put so much load on those guys that they have diminishing returns. And so we have to be able to spread the workload. And one of the important things for us to do was to get a couple guys that at least could give us reps so we can practice and develop the depth of our team.
Ooh, translation, they're going to be throwing a lot of passes in the spring. That's what I heard. That's what I heard. That's what I heard. It's going to be a lot of passing the ball during spring practice. That passing game is going to be a lot of work. Yes, sir.
Because it's like that's the only thing that can really count in this early in this process is if we get a great relationship with our receivers and there's a thirst for it. Coincidentally, not even having running backs available to really establish nothing in the run game is perfect. Now you're forced. Now you're forced to be like, look, we can't even practice if y'all don't do good receivers. If y'all ain't out there making an impact receivers, we're going to look like we not ready. So I think that's great for CJ just because it puts more ownership. You know, you want to give him as much of a challenge mentally to prepare him for when it gets real, you know, because that's the only thing you can't time is, you know, getting pounded, you know, getting beat on and stuff. So you got to be in this arena or stage in the process very methodical about challenging him mentally with, all right, we in this practice, you down everybody in the running back room. And you can't run great. So you're going to have to turn this offense up in a different way, you know, and that could be an issue in the season. Whatever game, you know, they run defense just happens to be good that day, and we're still a better team, but CJ got to show them why we're the better team. And I think that's a good challenge for him in the regular season.
Yeah.
What if Miami's run defense is still good? You know, what are we going to do?
You know what the crazy thing is, Left? Indiana showed us that if your offensive line is good enough against Miami, it doesn't matter who your running backs are.
Right.
You don't
No, I
need
mean,
versatile
Indiana was running
running
that ball hard, though.
Man, and they ran it when they needed to run. Yards per carry wasn't great. It definitely wasn't what they were used to doing. I mean, you're talking about a team that ran the ball 70% of the time. They were truly, the perception was they were a passing team, but they were a physical running football team. That's who they were. That was their identity. And so when you look at that, Left, and I think about Notre Dame, I love what Marcus Freeman said. He's saying we're short, and since we're short in numbers, we can't wear the healthy guys out. Well, guess what you have to do then? You got to work on that passing game. Passing game.
If you wanted to
CJ should be good. CJ should be good. He didn't throw. CJ's arm should be fantastic. He didn't throw the ball a lot last year. He didn't throw the ball a lot in last spring because he was splitting snaps with two other quarterbacks, and he split snaps with another quarterback in the fall. CJ's arm should be good to go.
Yeah.
Let it rip. Let it rip. Let it rip.
He should be, you know, now it's not a third of the reps. Now, if anything, it's like 70%. We're going to really see if he can throw now, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's important. Denbrock should just try stuff, stretch out talent, see how far he can throw. You know, you got to, you know, pitch count everything.
Yeah. So it's a great weekend. Great weekend for recruiting. Some big time talent coming in. I talked to if you haven't seen 5-star edge Jackson Vaughn from the 2028 class, and 5-star, they have 2 5-star edge rushers on campus this weekend. Jackson Vaughn and Cameron McGee.
That's
both
new.
In the 28 class. Man, you never lie about that. You never lie about that. John Meredith the third is another big time top 20 defensive back. He's the number 1 defensive back in the entire country. He released his top 10 at the beginning of the year. Notre Dame wasn't even on the list. Now I'm going to say that again. Notre Dame wasn't even in his top 10 schools. He just released his top 6 schools, and Notre Dame was on the list.
Yeah.
And
how many other schools can name 10
and
schools?
The next week, he scheduled a visit for this weekend. So shout out to Aaron Henry. Everybody was wondering what his recruiting chops are going to look like. He just got the number 1 defensive back who was not interested in Notre Dame at the top of the year to not only put Notre Dame in his top 6 schools, but to schedule a visit for the first junior day in spring visit day. That right there, Aaron Henry, hey, okay, keep it going. Keep it going, my man. Keep it going. Other visitors of note. Neiman Lawrence left. I don't know if you heard of that kid, the 5-star 2028 quarterback, Neiman Lawrence. He'll be in town. 4-star quarterback Lucas Prock in 2028 will be in town as well. Teddy Gerard, Ian Freeman, Gregory Patrick, James Halter, Richie Flanagan, Amari Irvin, Khalil Terry, Xavier Hassan, East Austin, and Sean Kraft. The Notre Dame commits in the 26, 27 classes. They will be in attendance. And then you have Trey Cigar, big-time running back, Lathan Wissington, the other running back. Those two top running backs out of South Carolina and Texas will be on campus. Julian Caldwell, a big-time 4-star wide receiver that you saw. If you missed it, Miles Boykin did some film breakdown on the top kids that are coming in for the big junior day, and he talked about how incredibly talented Julian Caldwell is out of the state of Texas. Of course, it left through some shade because he just doesn't like Texas wide receivers. I don't know what it is.
See, the thing is, them Texas receivers, man, they gotta they be killing me, Smalls. They're like BMWs. They're like BMWs in the Midwest.
Yeah,
they really meant to be cars for the West Coast highways because they're built low to the ground. So something in that metaphor is a Texas receiver in the Midwest.
Wow.
They're the BMWs, and they're nice cars.
Yeah.
They go fast, but they got the most mechanical issues. Great house. You don't know what's wrong. You don't know what. It's just the way the car built. It's a West Coast, vehicle. We got. Man, I'm telling you, that's exactly what it is. I figured it out. They are the BMWs in the Midwest cars.
The top tight end in the country, Jack Dollar, he's an incredible hooper from the Carolinas. He'll be on campus this weekend. Offensive lineman from downstate Illinois, Cameron Wagner, 4-star. Right about now, it's Texas A&M and Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame's out in front. And then Albert Simeon, the Louisiana kid, who has been thoroughly impressed with Marcus Freeman and Coach Rudolph in his recruitment and how his family, they came up for a game day visit at the end of the season, just fell in love with the campus. It's LSU, Texas A&M, and Notre Dame. And he'll be here this weekend as well, the 5-star interior offensive lineman. Spider-Man, KJ Green out of Georgia, edge rusher. He'll be on campus. IMG's defensive end, ZAIRE Forstall.
His name is Spider-Man?
No. KJ Green, that's his nickname. He calls himself KJ Spider-Man Green. ZAIRE Forstall from IMG. He'll be on campus. Aiden O'Neal, a kid out of Jersey, one of the top 5 edge rushers. They literally had 3 of the top 10 edge rushers in the 27 class on campus this weekend. And then Brayton Parks, a must get on the interior defensive line out of Chicago. He'll be in town. Noah Glover arrived today. He put it on his social media. Big time linebacker that Coach BJ was recruiting at Michigan. He brings that recruitment over to Notre Dame. Joakim Gouda, I talked to him earlier. He's super excited. He said he's locked in with Coach BJ for real. And he's going to get an opportunity to see Notre Dame for what it is. And then big-time safety Zane Gamble out of Florida will be on campus. That's a big-time get at the safety. You get him, and you can sneak John Meredith, once again, the number 1 defensive back from Texas in the country, is on campus this weekend in South Bend. Star-studded visitor list for the Fighting Irish. Star-studded. And Notre Dame has an opportunity to really knock it out of the park. They really do. They really do. Lucky Lefty Podcast. On the way out, we have one more question for you, Left. If you had the number 1 draft pick, would you use it on those knowing the quarterbacks coming out next year are better than Mendoza?
The Raiders are about 3-4 years away anyway, so I don't think this draft is going to impact their win total. Where 27, we all know that's where you're going to get a lot of good money too. But I think if anything, taking Mendoza is just a building block because if nothing else, we've learned teams have gotten back into the draft quick if it doesn't work, and the Raiders have nothing to lose. So they need all the best talent all the time.
Would it be dope if you could draft a player a year in advance? So meaning that the Raiders have the number one pick. Like that. The NBA used to do this. The Celtics used to do this all the time. They would draft players and then wait a year for them to graduate.
That's what they did with AJ DeBonza. That's what Utah did. Because how AJ DeBonza at BYU?
I knew the Raiders wish they had that ability because they probably would take Arch Manning right now and just wait for him and then just
you
play
just sell a lot of tickets.
Yeah.
God, yeah, man, they could switch up like that. They could be like, we're gonna be trash anyway with Mendoza.
No, they'll never do it though. But that could stop teams. Well, no, it really wouldn't stop teams from tanking. It wouldn't.
Basketball's the worst.
Oh, it's
football's
and
harder.
then you have teams like the Bulls that don't even know how to properly tank. It's just awful. Like you trade everybody. No, you trade everybody for nothing, and then you still win games. Like you don't even know how to properly tank. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. The craziest thing I've ever seen.
Trading away good and got still winning.
Man. Cat Josh Giddey out here getting triple dubs.
I didn't know beating Jordan records were that easy.
No,
but they won't be doing that for LeBron.
Hey, happy anniversary to the greatest day in the history of the business world when it comes to National Basketball Association that was struggling mighty. And on this day, a letter to the league office came back with 2 words that would change the trajectory of the league. It simply stated, "I'm back." Happy anniversary to the return of Michael Jordan coming back from his first return.
Yeah.
Happy anniversary. Yeah. All Bulls fans know what I'm talking about. Our heartfelt of a day this means.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, when the man said, when the man looked and said, "Man, this league is trash. Let me go win 3 more." That's basically what he said. That's basically, let me leave the baseball field. He was on the baseball field in the dugout. Was like, you know what? I'm just go back.
See, that don't make no sense because LeBron never left the game.
You're right. He wasn't good enough to go get into another sport.
Man,
Lucky Lefty podcast.
He's a good actor. He did in too many movies.
He's a good actor. He should do movies. But he needs to go get some original content, though.
Oh, okay. Original content,
right. Original content. Lucky Lefty podcast. The left. SD2 mics. Yo, we'll see you tomorrow.
Original content. Okay.
We'll talk to you tomorrow to see what the coordinators have to say. I'm very interested in that and some of the players. Lucky Lefty podcast. Enjoy the madness, but continue to spin it different.